Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Campen, and I'd like to share with you a personal testimony about the Atomy Sunscreen. Have you ever had a sunburn or had to squint your eyes when you went outside? The sun is a beautiful thing, but it can also be a harmful thing to us when we expose ourselves to it for too long. There are three types of ultraviolet rays. Two types of UV light are proven to contribute to the risk for skin cancer. Those are UVA and UVB. Now, ultraviolet A has longer wavelengths and is associated with skin aging. Ultraviolet B has a shorter wavelength and is associated with skin burning. Have you ever had a sunburn? That's those ultraviolet B rays making their way through the atmosphere from the sun, through the ozone to your skin. And then there's ultraviolet C, which has the shortest wavelength and is absorbed by the Earth's ozone layer. What does SPF stand for? You know, when we look for sunscreen, we see these numbers, SPF, PA, and we don't really know what they mean. But what does SPF stand for? It stands for Sun Protection Factor, and it is a rating system for the sun protection factor. A sunscreen with an SPF 30 will protect you from around 96.7% of UVB rays, whereas an SPF of 50 means protection from about 98% of UVB rays. So SPF will protect you from UVB rays. What does PA stand for? PA is short for protection grade of UVA. SPF measures only UVB protection, while the PA rating only measures UVA protection. Both types of rays are bad for our skin, but in different ways. Now, the rating system was designed by Japanese scientists, and it's as follows. A PA with a plus will give you some ultraviolet protection. A PA with two pluses will give you a moderate UVA protection. A PA plus 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 will give you a high UVA protection, and the highest you can get, a PA plus 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 plus, so four pluses, is extremely high UVA protection. With no sunscreen, 100 photons from the sun's rays can enter the skin and cause damage. We're constantly being bombarded by photons from the sun, from the microwave, from electronics, from the computer screens. They're all around us. With an SPF 15, only 7 photons enter the skin, whereas with an SPF 30 or higher, only 3 photons enter the skin. So the higher the SPF protection, the less photons will enter the skin and cause damage. Now let's talk about the Atomy products now that we know about the SPF and the PA ratings. The Atomy BB cream. This product right here has an SPF of 30 and a PA rating of 2 pluses. So it will give you a high protection rating for the UVA and UVB rays. The Atomy Sunscreen is a broad spectrum SPF 50 plus, and It has a UV protection and a PA rating with 3 pluses in it. This product comes in white and beige. And then we have our Atomy Derma Calming Stick. Now, this is a broad spectrum sunscreen for sensitive skin. So if you have sensitive skin, you might want to give this product a try. It has an SPF 50 plus and a PA rating of 4 pluses. So that's the highest PA rating that you can get. And then we have the Atomy Sun Stick. This has an SPF 50 plus and a PA rating with 4 pluses. It also smells like citronella, which helps to repel mosquitoes. So you just roll this on your skin and it's nice, it's convenient, you can take it with you. You don't get lotion all over your fingers. Well, during the summer months, we have to be really careful about the skin, especially during the summer, but actually all throughout the entire year. Depending on where you live, you might get sun all the time. But the UV rays are the strongest between 10 a.m. in the morning and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So you'll want to make sure that when you go outside during those hours that you are using your sunscreen. Now, here's my story. One day, a few years ago, I was going to go inner tubing down a river with my friends. And we had only planned to go for 2 or 3 hours. We left at about 11 in the morning, and we were going to be back in the mid-afternoon. Now, it was a sunny day out. It was hot. It was around 96, 98 degrees outside. It was really hot. So it was a perfect day for being out in the water. Before I left the house, my wife told me, honey, you better put on your sunscreen. And I was from the Midwest back in Minnesota, and I never used sunscreen. I hated sunscreen. It was too oily. You had to keep putting it on. I was always in the water. You had to, sweating. You always had to put it on. Well, she wouldn't let me go inner tubing without putting on the sunscreen. So she handed me a tube of the Atomy Sunscreen, and I sat down and I rubbed sunscreen on my arms and down my legs. And I headed out the door, 11 o'clock in the morning, met up with my friends, and we started inner tubing down the river. Well, we were in the water, as you can see, totally exposed to the sun, just lazily floating down the river. We were in that water, in and out of the water, jumping around, having a lot of fun. And it was a hot summer day. Now, we didn't calculate how long it was going to take us to float down that river. And we were actually out there until 6 p.m. So we had been out on that water for 7 hours, floating down the river. And we realized that we still had about 2 more hours to go before we would get to the location where we dropped off one of our vehicles. Well, when we got home, I wasn't sunburned on my legs, but you can see I was sunburned on the inside part of my arm because, when we put sun lotion on, we generally don't rub underneath our arms. We just rub the top part of our arms. And that wasn't sunburned, just underneath. But then you can see down where I had my shoes on, I had my shorts on, I had rubbed the lotion on my legs, and I had missed that section. You can clearly see where my hands stopped and where my shoes were at. And I had missed that little section with the sunscreen. Now, mind you, I didn't take the sunscreen with me on the water as we were floating. I only put it on before I left home, and I was out on that water for 7 hours. I didn't reapply it, and I was in and out of the water, sweating, getting wet, having fun. So, my friends, I became a believer of the Atomy sunscreen. And I'll recommend this to you and to anyone. When you go outside, wear your sunscreen. Thank you very much.